How's it going, Blazers? We're going to have a little bit more of a free, more open review, a little bit more relaxed than the normal ones. Kind of change things up a little bit. But this one's going to be what this looks like in pocket. This one is from CRKT, so thank you very much to them for providing it to the pass-around group. So that's what it looks like here. To take it out of the pocket, it's about 1 pound 4 ounces. That's actually to pull it out of the pocket. So I measured that with a Lyman pull gauge. So that is what that looks like, and that is what it is in pocket. So that's going to be the knife there. It is an assisted knife. So this is the Liong, this is the Lanny. So that's where he has his custom ones, and as well as production ones. And then this is going to be the actual budget production. So from CRKT, the speed safe is no longer in patent, so that's where you're going to start to see that elsewhere. So CRKT picked it up, so they do have pretty much the same mechanism as far as the speed safe, so it should be a good year for them. They do have 6 new models out, so go over their site, check it out, and then we'll see what they do for Blade Show, because that is just coming up as well. So not going to that one this year, but hopefully everybody has fun with that, stay safe as well. So this one, as far as weight goes, this is about 4 ounces. So for this channel, as far as what that means, 4 ounces is basically 20 quarters. So that's going to be right here. So 20 quarters. If you have that available to you, take it out, feel how that is in your hand. If you know what the weight is of your knife that you have currently, then you can just put that on top of it, especially if you have a bug out that's like 1.9 ounces. So you can stack on some quarters, some pennies, and then kind of see what that feels like for you. Really, most times 5.73 ounces is kind of my baseline. Why is that? Because that's how much the new iPhone 12 weighs. So if it's under that, most people don't have a problem carrying an iPhone. You probably won't have a problem carrying a knife that weighs under 5.73 ounces. So that's kind of where I gauge that. This one, as far as the price, it goes for $58.95 currently. $89.99 is the MSRP. So this is going to be the assist. So it has a good action for it, flies out really well. Really, some of my baseline for myself as far as what I feel is still really one of the better assisted knives is going to be the Kershaw Blur. So that's where I feel this one really stands out quite a bit as far as that knife there. So also still USA made for it, so which is a cool thing about it. But that's going to be some of those comparisons there. You're going to have a bit more for a price point for the Blur, but I still think this is kind of still that baseline for it. You have this one here. This is still a good setup for it as well. So to actually do the pull gauge, so I do use that to actually see kind of what it takes to actually deploy the knife. So basically to do the flipper tab, it's about 2 pounds 3 ounces to actually deploy it. That's going to be for this angle here. So that's going to be how that works. And then really it's a pretty good setup. It's almost about 20 degrees for the actual factory sharpened edge for this one here. But it has all the different deployment methods. You have light switch. You're going to have, this is where it gets kind of iffy because you kind of have other ways to deploy it. But since this little choil area, or fuller, probably more of a fuller, but that's where this little area here, that's where you can get your thumb in there and deploy it that way, but it's just a little bit more of a hassle. It's not really just a really quick method to get there in there. So probably the middle finger flick is one that you can kind of get your thumbnail in there, or fingernail in there really easily to do that, but it's kind of and then you can do the traditional, but it is assisted, so most times I wouldn't recommend grabbing the knife and pulling it out, because you do have that spring action where you could, if you slip, you stab yourself in the hand, which wouldn't be great. And then this one also, for blade length, it's going to be basically from this point here all the way out to the tip. It's going to be about 3.2 inches, and then you're going to have a cutting edge, since it does have that up sweep to it, is going to be 3.3 ounces. And that's one thing to talk about as well, because it does look like a pretty interesting grind, because it's kind of a compound grind, but the factory does not have basically that sharpened edge is not compound. So basically it goes from front to back, basically it's the same, so you can put it on a regular stone, not worry about doing more of a tanto type of sharpening where you have to do two different ones. But it does change the angle quite a bit, so you're going to have this angle here, and then you're going to have that sharpener where it does thicken up quite a bit at the tip because it is thicker, more of a flat ground here, a hollow ground here, so that's going to be where that is. But don't be worried about it as far as a sharpening side because it works perfectly fine. It's going to be able to be put on a stone. There's going to be kind of that pattern here, not very much grip to it, so it is aluminum handle, so it just is kind of just a texture feeling. It does have a right left hand, so this is the left hand side. You take that off, take out the little insert, flip it over to the other side, and then you put the insert back on this side if you do want to make it left-handed. So that's going to be something nice for that 10% of the population for the knife as well. CRKT is a steel that they're going with on this. They are moving up on some of their steels, which is a good thing. So I guess put that in perspective. What are you going to have for that? It's going to be about half the life of S30V. Generally, that's going to be what you're going to have for that. So if you do sharpen up your knife, if you do maintain your knife, it makes it easier to do that. You finish out your day, strop it out, or do it on a ceramic stone if you would want to. Bring the edge back. You should be able to make it through most of your day. As far as how much you use your knife, and then maybe that won't be enough as far as HCR. But for the majority of people that attack Amazon boxes and whatnot, you'll probably be fine. This is going to be also, the handle length is going to be 4.2 inches here. Behind the edge thickness is about 5 sheets of paper, about 22 thousandths behind the edge, and hopefully my cadence is a little bit better because I get told that I kind of sound like the Micro Machine guy. Other times, like at least I feel like I'm kind of mixed between the Bueller guy and also who else would it be? I heard Jeff Goldblum before as well. So who knows? If you're still here, congratulations. So we're going to be going on for that now. But overall, looking at the other knives on the table, I kind of have the baseline as far as what I compare it to. So you do have the Lanny there. I already talked about this one. This is kind of a new one I just brought out for this one because it's assisted. We do have the other CRKT as far as the Razel GT that it is also assisted for that. For the pattern up here, I would rather have it be a little bit less. I don't really care for jimping too much, but it does lock you in pretty well. If you're using gloves, that'd be good for it. But I do notice it when you're actually closing it down. I can kind of feel it a little bit more on that side of my finger when it kind of rolls over to close. That's one thing about this, which is really nice, and actually the reason why I bought this over the other one is because this spine is crowned, which does give it more of a premium feel when you're using it. This one also is assisted. Cannot de-assist. So if you want to try it, don't, because there's no hole for the detent ball. So it will not work. So that is things about those for the assisted knives. For CRKT, currently you cannot de-assist it. So that is something that if you want to do it, you can't. Or it's going to be a lot more work. So that's going to be those two knives there. And then we'll bring out some of the regular ones that we see on the table so you can kind of see how it compares. So Rat 2 is there. You have the Bug Out. Terra 3. And then here's the Solaris. Played around with it. Deleted the flipper tab. Some people kind of like it that way, so I tried it out, see how it was. So we are getting these back in later on, so probably going to be July, August time period for the secondary run of the Solaris. There are some other products that will be coming out as well, so stay tuned to Instagram, on YouTube, if you do basically subscribe to those areas. Would I pick it up? It's not bad. So as far as the assist side, it does allow you to close it down. I would rather have almost without the flipper tab, and that's kind of probably why I like the Blur, is because you can release it, it'll drop down about to this area, and then you can close it. This one basically would hit your finger, it would drop to that secondary level, and then you have to reload the spring. And that's why I don't own too many assisted knives, is because I don't like doing that. I'd rather just have it drop down. So for you though, if you like it, and you like the look and everything else, it's worth the go. For 50, almost 60 bucks, it's worth a shot. And then it's actually a pretty good setup for it. But this is why I like the blur, as far as you just drop it down, then close it. Just really nice. If you haven't had one of these, this I totally recommend. This I recommend if you like it and you like the style. But also, well, this I don't recommend if it still has the original inserts. Those are kind of lame. I wish they would change that, because with these inserts that were done, then it really works well with the pocket clip. But if you have those rubber inserts, I could only get like my pocket to be maybe about here, and it couldn't go all the way up because of that grip. So would like some updates on that if possible. That would be fantastic. But that is about all I have to say about that one today.